Welcome back to more, I guess, painting with SPs now. We have see if I can do this correctly. Oh, this corner here, Brad, and then, oh my gosh, this is so awkward. Down there, Fluffer Squirrel UK, oh hey Brad, who is joining us for an impromptu neurographic art session. So thank you both very much. How how are you both today?
I'm very good, thank you. I've had a very busy, hot day, but I'm home now and I get to relax with friends, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do one of these, so it's great. And how are you, Fluffer?
I'm good, thank you. I'm having a better day. Pain-wise, I've been having some yucky pain days. But yeah, I'm doing a bit better today. Feeling excited to do this. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, I'm honored. I love watching you guys paint, and I do experience some FOMO for sure.
That's all right, Jeff.
Uh,
Anytime.
cool. So I am obviously not an expert in this whatsoever, um, but I think both of you are very well experienced. So did you want to explain kind of what we're going to be doing today, or
Can I just butt in there very quickly? I'm not experienced.
absolutely?
Fluffer's the expert, so I vote Fluffer's in charge.
Okay, I'm going to second that motion.
I think I've been pushing the neurographic art on anyone who'll listen. I'm very passionate about it. It's such an affordable and accessible form of therapy, and it is a bona fide form of therapy. It's been studied. If you want to look into it, it's actually really interesting. Um, when you come to the therapeutic part of taking the edge off, which is when all of the lines meet, you cross over and you take any sharp edges off.
Mm-hmm.
So here, for example, it actually starts to match some of like the mirror neurons in your brain, and it actually takes the edge off in your brain as well, and induces relaxation and all those good chemicals we like to feel. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's so cheap. I use watercolors. I use the absolute cheapest, most basic form of paint, and yeah, I just love for every single person to give it a go because so many people have found it. Um, yeah, it makes a difference.
I totally agree. I think just art in general for me has been very, very healing. Um, I found myself, instead of sitting on the couch watching TV all night, before bed, sitting down and doing a little painting or a doodle or watercolor or whatever, even just coloring in a coloring book, and it's been good for my sleep and being able to just unwind and relax. So it's pretty cool. So
I found
how do we
I
start?
found similar.
Hmm. Go ahead, Brad.
I know. I'm just saying I found similar, but quite often I'll just watch like one of Fluffer's streams or previous streams just to relax. If you can't necessarily do art, watching someone do art actually helps as well, or at least it helps me.
Yeah, I was camping with some friends, and it was a pretty big group. There was about 40 people, and I saw one person break out their travel watercolor kit, and I just walked up to her and very politely and respectfully asked if I could just sit and watch her paint, and it was really cool.
But
So,
Jeff, that's what I carry with me every day. There's me
oh wow.
watercolors in there, all my brushes, which I have too many of, and pencils
Mm-hmm.
and everything I need is all literally in one tin. And of course, English
English
teas.
tea, of
There you
course.
go. Yeah.
I saw that. That was great. The first piece of art that was given to me by Andrea is just this little koi travel watercoloring kit. So you've got a little sponge to soak up the water, and then a water pen, and a few basic colors. So super tiny. I love your tin though.
I'll get one for you if you want, Jeff. I'll send it over. I've actually finished. Now I told you about the piece of art that I'm doing for you. Obviously, you sent me your personal home address, so I'm going to post the art to you, and I've also got this that I'm going to send to you as well.
Oh, cool. You really don't have to do that.
I've never actually had a chance. No, I don't have to. I want to because I know that you'll get more out of it than I will.
Well, I appreciate it.
So I'm going to send that to you, and if I can find one, I'll get another English tea tins out to you so that you can put your travel art stuff into it.
Okay. I definitely will. And just so you guys know, anyone who's watching, I'm going to be going down to Portland this weekend. And so if anyone's in the area wants to meet up, let me know. Enrica, I got your email. I see that. Oops, I see that comment in there. Thank you very much. I got it. Let's connect. So what's the first step here?
I know you've hurt your hand at the moment, so did you want to do this
Yes.
left with the left to start off with?
I can use my right hand.
I'm happy to use my left as well.
Okay.
It can sometimes help.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with my right for today. My left hand's pretty squiggly. If I'm being honest.
So sometimes it can help doing it with your left to completely let go, because the neurographic lines, if we're going to do like because there's a difference between neurographic art therapy and then neurographic art as just a style. So the therapeutic style is what I believe you wanted to do today. So you sort of have your intention set, or have your question, or have your thought in mind. You would do some deep breaths beforehand. You would make sure you felt centered, grounded. Then you would start with your lines, and your lines are all going to be counterintuitive. If you want to start here at the bottom in the middle and go straight up and vertical, you're going to do anything but that.
Okay.
We're going to start here and we're going to go down.
Are we doing pencils again?
You can go straight in for pen if you want, Brad.
Oh no, I'm fine with pencil, because then I do the I'll do pencil, then color, and then I'll do the lines afterwards. The marker lines.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
as you say, it can be done either way, can't it? So.
Yeah. So what we start off doing is the counterintuitive lines, and then after that we'll pop some circles in. Then you'll pick one circle, and you'll have a thought, either a positive, negative thought, emotion, and then you'll have a squiggle in that circle, and that will be the circle to represent the thing that you're trying to get out. And then afterwards you can go in with the color, or you can do the line straight away. Either or, but the satisfying part is when everything meets, is just connecting them, and as I said, taking the edge off. So there we go, my ring light's doing no favors. So if you see where everything meets, we've just taken the edge off. Everywhere lines cross, we just make that into a round instead of a sharp.
That's deeply satisfying for me, that is.
Yeah. But this first part is not going to be satisfying. I'm going to do it with my left, just because I like to sometimes.
I'm going to be a lefty today, in your honor, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to shut up now. Thank you so
much.
I
feel pressured. So
sorry.
no,
you do it. You do it. Don't feel pressured. Whatever you do.
It really is a matter of like, this thing is almost impossible to do anything other than draw with. It's pretty funny. But I'll go with right.
I did say to you the other day, didn't I? Just duct tape a pen to your hand and you'll be fine.
You did, yeah.
I want to go
All right.
start at the bottom corner and then swirly whirl my way up. So I'm going to start it here in the opposite side of the middle, and I'm going to swirl it there. And
Okay,
that's my
well, I want to
first
start on the
line.
bottom, so I'm going to start on the top.
Yeah,
Which,
and then
is very
I
awkward
really
here.
I want the corners, but I'm not going for the corners. And if you want to do a big loop-de-loop, you do a big loop-de-loop.
Mildly awkward, but not too bad.
There we go.
I always find that when you're doing this, it when you first start it, you think, oh, it just looks like a horrible mess. But then when you actually finish it, it actually turns out nicely.
Yeah.
And now I'm
It's-
finished with my lines. I'm going to take just something circular and I'll pop that down on the page. And I'm just going to draw around that. And that's going to be the circle that.
I got this the other day.
Oh, cool.
At staff discount at my local art shop.
I'm going to use a pouring cup. Awkwardly, very, very awkwardly.
It's the best way.
Yeah, well, that's how I go through most of my life.
So why stop a habit of a lifetime?
Exactly.
Can you have more than one circle?
Yes,
Like go ahead.
So it's apparently it's a rule of art, which I'm really not a fancy art person, but apparently odd numbers are good in art. So I normally go for an odd number.
If you're taking photographs, there's something called the rule of thirds. You divide the image into three, and you tend to put the let's say you've got a person in a field with a tree or something. You would want to put the person who's next to the tree in the at the line between the first and second third of the picture, for example.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if I've explained that very well, but it certainly makes sense in my head.
Yeah, so you don't want it to be just directly in the center if your subject is
no, because it just doesn't look good. I've taken a fair amount of photos, which I'm happy with, and I was actually taught that by one of the National Trust photographers. I went on a little course and did that. That was quite interesting. Okie dokie. So I've done my lines.
All right, I'm done mine too. I've got 3 circles. There's a lot of crisscross. There's going to be a lot of rounding.
So now, if you want to take the pencil into your right hand and pick one of the circles, I'm going to focus on gratitude because I've had a pretty good day as far as days go. So I'm going to do something just in there to make me think of that.
When you say something, what do you mean?
I'm just going to squiggle, but it's not going to be me holding the pencil like this going through the page because I'm very annoyed. I'm just going to go like la di da di da da da. There we go, done.
And that's in what circle? Any circle?
Yep, just pick one circle and that'll be like your extra busy circle.
I've already got 3 of those. And is this in pencil or ink?
Pencil if you want, ink if you're feeling brave.
I'm feeling committed today.
If you use watercolor, obviously doing the ink, it can bleed in and that can create a completely different effect. But I normally do the lines after the color.
I'm using markers today.
Yeah, Jeff, I quite often start with just doing markers. I've noticed. It seems to work for some and not for others. I don't quite understand it myself. Should I start color now, Tilty? Not that's the wrong person. I was looking at Tilty's message. Fluffer, sorry. Should I do know who you are, by the way. It's fine.
I'm just like, sweet.
Should I start the colours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just for you've picked it up so well, Brad. But what you might want to do here, Jeff, is find certain interesting shapes that you want to do all in the same color or the same tone. So here I'm looking and I see some droplet shapes. So some different sort of, can we see as I'm talking? Different sort of droplet shapes, and those droplets are making me think blue. So I'm probably going to go through all of these shapes that look like droplets and do them in some sort of blue.
Okay. And is there a reason for doing the colors before the cornering, or is that just a personal thing?
That's just a personal thing, and because I'm using watercolor paint. If you're using acrylic paint or gouache or something like that, then yeah, you could, and you were confident in staining the lines, which I am not, then yeah, by all means you can do the lines first. It is the satisfying part.
Yeah.
It's been studied and proven anyway.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna do some lines here because I want to be satisfied.
Nice.
This should work. This should work.
I was going to say something then, Jeff, but I stopped myself.
Oh yeah. I won't satisfy myself on YouTube. Okay. I don't want to get demonetized.
So yeah, when you come to the lines, some people just do the line, like follow the line from one side to the other like they did, and some other people will take oh, it's all mirrored. They'll take one shape, so for instance this shape here, and they will go around that one shape and get the shape in there that they want to get, and then go around afterwards and fill everything else in. Can we see that?
I got you.
Everything. So yeah, you can either just do the lines first like this, and then afterwards go in, and then take the edge off, or you can go in and do the shapes first. It's a personal preference, or try both and see which you prefer.
So Jeff, you know, I told you about the painting that I've done for you. Did you want to see it, by the way?
If you would like to share it before it's done, I didn't want to be presumptuous in that regard, but
no, it's ready now. I've done it. It's finished.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you want to have a quick look? Because I want to show you how I used acrylic to actually do. I used acrylic to paint the lines with. If you know.
Is that it? Wow.
That's it. Yeah. That's on.
That's amazing.
It's on a proper board.
Okay.
It's on a proper board, and it's like a canvas board basically. So I'm gonna sign it as well and send it out to you. But I think it needs to be that way up, but that's down to personal preference, I think, because I don't, for some reason, it doesn't feel right any other way than that. But then that's personal preference, Jeff.
I think I think maybe for me looking at it, I would say that having that bigger blue kind of blotch there, that because it's such a darker color than the yellow, I think you're right. I think it looks better in that orientation. It's a bit more solid.
As I say, it's completely down to personal preference, really. So what Samuel said to me is, because I don't know if you know, Samuel made a picture for me. He did one of his pieces for me, and he said to me that when you get bored of looking at it one way, just flip it over or turn it around or something like that, which you can do unless it's if it's not specifically, you know, like a painting of a dog or something, you know, unless it's an Australian dog, then you can have it upside down. But other than that, it's fine if it's this type of art.
Well, you know what dog is quite often upside down? Raz.
Yeah, on his back. Yeah.
Every single morning, I wake up and I come downstairs and I find him upside down on the couch, greeting me for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And why not?
He gets a nice belly rub. I'd like to say hello to everybody in the chat. We see you.
We do see you.
We're not engaging too much, but please feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
Can I click on a thing in it? Will it come up?
I don't know if you have that power, but is there one that you want me to show?
Hang on. No, I'm not going to put the user in timeout. No, it's Tilty Bird, 0721, and it's Brad. We've got to share. We got to do an art swap.
Yeah.
And the reason is because Samuel offered to buy a piece of art from me.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to buy a piece, and I said, "There's no way I'm charging. I'm not going to let him pay for any art. I'll give it to him, but I won't charge him for it." So he said, "We'll have to do a swap instead. So I'll do some art for you, and then you do the art for me." If that makes sense. And since then, Tilty Bird and myself have made a decision that we're going to do swap some art, which I think is a fantastic idea.
Absolutely.
You know,
if we lived closer and it wasn't so expensive, I would join in on that. But man, it's expensive to send stuff around.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but to be honest, I'm not just going to send one little thing to you, Jeff. I'm going to send a few bits, and if it's a little bit expensive, then that's fine. You know, it's not something I'm going to be doing every day, so I'm not worried about that too much. But yeah, definitely Tilty Bird and myself will be swapping some art. I think Fluffer, you said that you might want to at some point. I can't remember.
I've muted myself. I don't know how I've done it, but it was in my phone. It was in my phone, the connector for my headphones, and I've just touched it, and I don't know where it's gone. So I'm sorry if there's an echo. I'm going to mute myself again and carry on looking for it because it was literally plugged into my phone seconds ago. Sorry.
And just to answer this comment here, Rika, I won't be protesting this weekend, but if you want to get together, I would happily come and grab a coffee or something this weekend. I'm going to be down in Portland tomorrow and Saturday.
Jeff, what's the weather like down there in Portland?
Oh, Oregon? Right now it's in Oregon. I'm not sure, but
is it Portland, Oregon, or are you talking about Canada?
No, I live in Canada, but in Portland it's probably similar. But right now it's hot as balls here.
Oh, so it's perfect weather for an SP barbecue then?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, next time you come to the UK, Jeff, you're going to come over to my place and I'm going to show you a proper barbecue. Not that you don't know what a barbecue is, of course, but you know.
No, I want you to show me.
It's my own special way.
When I was there for the protest, we had a proper English a roast, I think it is. Is that a roast?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was nice. I forget, were you there for that?
No, I wasn't actually. You were staying, I believe, up in London, weren't you?
Yeah. But we had a roast in, I don't think it was East Grinstead, but it was not far from it. I totally forget.
Yeah. There's lots of English pubs around in that area. Well, in general. But yeah, good old English roast. And as I say, my mum does an amazing roast. That's probably one of the reasons why I like my food so much, to be honest.
Yeah. It's funny, when I grew up, I always had to cook for myself because my dad was always busy doing something.
Yeah.
So I did learn how to cook, and Andrea will attest to that.
When Samuel went home, he stole a copy of my copy of the cookbook for Winston Churchill's estate. That's what they used to use in the Second World. When I say stole, I did give it to him, to be fair, but you know, I like to wind him up a bit.
Of course.
How's it going over there, Tilty? Tilty again. I'm
Tilty.
still looking. So sorry, Fluffer. You know, I do know who you are. Honestly, it's been a long day, and I think I might have sunstroke thinking about it, to be honest. But
oh, you gotta take
it's,
care of yourself, there, bud.
no, it's all right. I'm
Hello?
drinking plenty of water. Are you okay?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
just checking. You haven't said anything. Are you managed to sort your technology out?
Yeah, it was this plug-in thing that I've got to plug it into my phone because I brought the wrong headset. I brought a headset for like Xbox or something. I don't know. So I've got something that I've got to plug into my phone so my headset works.
Gotcha. Well, I wouldn't worry. My technology's failed me a number of times recently because I'm new to streaming. I'm not used to how it all works. Because Jeff, you're using this software, but I've been using something called OBS.
Yeah,
Because
I haven't tried that.
I think Tilty Bird uses it.
It's free, which is nice.
Yeah, it seems to be quite good.
Are you able to multi-stream with it?
As in multiple people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. To be honest, I would be happy to use the software we're currently using. It's just I needed something that was simple and free at the time. So, you know, I'll see how we get on. But
Well, StreamYard is free. If you use the free version there, it'll have a watermark, I think, of StreamYard.
That's right. Yeah.
There's some other limitations, like it's not in HD or anything, but
no, that's fine.
No big deal.
Low battery. Please reach a loudspeaker.
How's Raz, by the way?
He is really good. We went to the dog park this morning, and he had a good play with his good friend Sable, who was a maybe 6-month-old doodle, a little doodle puppy.
Gotcha.
And she's pretty crazy. We go to the dog park every single morning.
Yeah, with Raz is a Labrador, is that right?
He's a Borador, which is a lab and a border collie mix.
So that basically means he probably wants to eat everything he sees.
As long as it's food, yes.
Yeah, I know, absolutely, food. Eat every bit of food and has no trouble just running and jumping into puddles of mud and stuff like that, I would guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's basically Labrador all round. Yeah.
Yeah. He found his first bird today, unfortunately, and I'm not sure if it was dead before he got to it, but it was definitely dead after he got to it.
Did he bring it to you as a present? As a gift?
No, he tried to run away from me because I was calling him to drop it. and he doesn't tend to listen in those cases.
No, of course not. Well, there you go. I need more paint.
Ooh. Come on over. I've got lots.
Oh, yeah. So, Jeff, I haven't told you yet, I don't think. But I've just managed to... So I drive trucks, as you know, and I deliver to this one particular place, which is an art supply shop. They supply schools, they supply art supply shops, for example, and everything else. So it's a big old warehouse and everything else, but they actually have an on-site shop there. And because they like me there, that I get staff discount, which is amazing.
That's
So
amazing.
what I've been able to do is Tilty Bird and Fluffer are very upset about that. Well, not upset, but they're jealous. What I've been able to do actually with the discount is with my limited funds, I've been able to actually get some really nice stuff so far. I've managed to get a decent wad of decent quality watercolor paper for a very small amount of money. I've got some coloring pencils and a new pad, etc. But I'm managing to get it at like almost 45 to 50% off.
Wow.
Which is quite good. So I feel very lucky in that respect.
I'm sure you're also very appreciative, which not everybody would be. So.
No, absolutely. And I was thinking about doing a painting, because in their shop they actually have art that's been done by their staff members and customers, etc. So I was thinking about doing a little bit of art for them, like a neurographic, but incorporate the company logo into it for them.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that if you get it done.
Yeah, I think it's not particularly difficult to do. I would want to make sure that. Do you remember, Jeff? I sent you last week on WhatsApp. I sent you a link or a document showing you the process I used to make accurate drawings. By using printers and everything else. That's only my method. I don't know necessarily. There's probably easier ways of doing it, but I plan to use that method to get the company logo and writing done properly, or at least in the right places. And then from there, I'll then do the neurographic lines like we're doing here. And then sort of, like I say, just incorporate their logo into that picture.
Nice.
You've created a monster, Fluffer.
I know. I think it's amazing. There's been a few people who, like yourself, have been like, "Oh, I really like art." Like Samuel, someone who's knows their way around a color palette. There's some people who were like, "Oh, another type of art. Yeah, I'd really like to know that." But then there's some people who have been like, "Oh no, no. People are going to laugh at me. I couldn't draw even a stick figure." There's people who have been very, very nervous, and this is really out of their comfort zone to try. And they seem to be the people who message me afterwards and say, "I had the best night's sleep ever. Thank you so much." And it just warms my heart. It really does.
I think the really important thing is there was a video I was watching. It was this lady who I guess took a break from work, a mental health break, and took up watercolor. And she said it's the best thing she's ever done. It's just completely changed her. And it doesn't matter whether her art is perfect. It's not about that. It's about just the process, right? And that's the way I'm looking at it.
I definitely think that's the beauty of neurographic art, especially if you're a perfectionist or you're a novice. It's really about doing it, and it's the therapy of feeling good when you're doing it and being present and taking a step back, and then you look at your art afterwards and you see what you can see in it, and then maybe you show some other people. So it gets you more sociable, and it gets you thinking, it gets you comfortable in solitude and quiet. There's so many benefits of doing this as a form of art and therapy, and it's such little pressure as a form of art or therapy or meditation, all of those things can be quite loaded terms or words and can be quite intimidating, especially to people like yourself, Jeff, who have been brought up in any sort of religious or fake religious setting, that psychiatry is bad or therapy is bad, or so I think this is a great first step, and it could be even a last step, but I can't vouch for this form of therapy enough for anybody, like literally anybody, just to give it a try. I've never met anybody who said really didn't like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm
I
doing
wish
it
it
on my
wasn't.
lunch. Sorry,
Sorry?
Jeff, carry on. No, sorry, Jeff,
No,
you carry on.
I was just going to say, I don't, I wish it wasn't so expensive to become an art therapist, because I would love to do that. Maybe in the future, but it's a long process to get to it.
I was just going to say that I've been doing this stuff on my lunch break and everything. Do you remember, Fluffer, that when you were doing your Fluffathon, that I came on and I was resting my pad? I don't know if you saw it, Jeff. I don't know if you were on the Fluffathon at any point, but I rested my notepad up on the steering wheel while I was streaming, and I was doing some neurographic art with Fluffer during the Fluffathon.
Yeah, I was. I think I saw that. I was there, in and out of that live.
Yeah,
that was a long one. That was what, 8 hours?
Yeah, that was right. I felt I needed to support Fluffer in any way possible. So when I wasn't driving my truck, I was watching the stream, and then when I was driving, it was streaming, but my phone was upside down, on the seat down there next to me where I couldn't see it, because as you can imagine, driving is a safety thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're driving a truck.
Yeah, exactly. So
how big? What kind of truck do you drive anyway?
Oh, it's only a baby. It's 18 tons, 18-ton truck.
Yeah, just a baby.
Yeah. Well, compared to what I'm used to, I used to drive 32-ton trucks, and I've got a license to drive the Arctics, which are like 44 tons.
Wow, that's a big one.
But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just sort of an average size for the type of work we do, really.
Yeah, you deliver. Is it rock?
Yeah, sometimes. So it's basically anything that's on a pallet. So,
Okay.
and pretty much anything on a pallet. So we the other day I picked up 10 tons of Egyptian sandstone.
Oh wow.
Which is going into someone's garden as a patio, which apparently is very expensive because it's imported from Egypt, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be similar to. It came from the similar region, apparently, where the pyramids are. So it would be a very similar, probably almost exactly the same type of rock that they used for the pyramids. Of course, I don't know enough about it, but yeah, it's really. It just looks like a normal sandstone to me. I don't understand the difference, but that's just me. Some people have too much money, I suppose, don't they? Yeah, no, 10 tons of rock, food on pallets, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. I guess most people don't really realize it, but pretty much everything that you have in your life has been on a truck at some point. It's difficult to find anything that we use in our lives that at some point hasn't been on a truck.
Yeah. Truckers are invaluable.
We have our uses, shall we say?
The people I can live without, though, and this might rub some people the wrong way, is a lot of the dump truck drivers are pretty bad drivers. At least in my area, there's
I
so
can
much
answer.
construction going on.
I can tell you why
Yeah.
as well if you want.
Mm,
I
please
can
do.
answer. I can give you an idea. Well, that's certainly the case in this country. So you got some companies will pay by the load. They'll give you bonuses for the amounts of loads you do. So you're going to be rushing constantly to get as many loads in as possible. And sometime, and whatever happens, you're under a lot of pressure to get as many loads taken as possible. Which is one of the reasons why I left the company. This is when I was 32-ton tippers. It's because they were telling me, well, you've got to get more done. I said, well, look, if I do that, I'm going to have to start breaking the speed limit. I said, I'm not going to do that. So, I'm not saying they were literally asking me to break the law, but, they were kind of implying it quietly.
For sure.
So, didn't like that really. I wasn't happy with that. So, anyway, I'm talking too much. I have that habit of doing that.
It's all good. Always good to have conversation.
So,
how's it going there, Fluffer? Or should I say Tilty?
Yeah,
Tilty.
I'll answer to anything. Brad, I was gonna bring it back to rocks if you don't mind for a second. If
Sure.
you ever get anything like these.
These, yeah.
These, can you see them on the screen?
Yeah,
these
yeah.
rocks,
Big stones,
like pebbles. Yeah,
yeah.
These are really, really good for the SPTV rocks. So if you're in a place that you can't put flyers up,
yeah,
I can't deal with this backwards screen.
No, I see it. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And they're good. We do positivity rocks as well. So this one says, "You are loved."
So what do you do? Just chuck him at the Scientologist?
No, we do not do that. Nobody do that.
Nobody do
no,
that.
you just place them down. You just put them in places like by, I don't know, bus stops or places that people might see them and go, "Oh, what's that about? Let me have a Google."
Yeah.
That's a fantastic idea. And my girlfriend has this unfortunate habit of collecting stones for the little rock garden that we have outside. And normally what happens if we go down to the beach for the day, she'll end up picking up half a ton of stones and I'm the one that has to carry it. But yeah,
She's keeping you strong.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we can definitely do that. I think that's a great idea. I actually did one recently for a friend of mine that unfortunately got killed in Iraq, and I put it next to the memorial, war memorial. It wasn't the one relating to his area exactly, but it was in the same county. So yeah, that was quite. Got killed by a sniper in Iraq in 2003. I think it was 2003.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I actually wasn't in the country at the time, but it was a guy that I used to share a room with back in Germany when I started in the army, and yeah, it was a bit of a shock because I actually didn't hear about it until I was at there's a place called Combat Stress. It was a charity called Combat Stress, and their job basically is to look after veterans in this country. So it'd be the American equivalent would be the VA, I suppose, the veterans hospitals or whatever. What do they call them? But anyway, yeah, Combat Stress. I was there on a course, and another guy who was out in Iraq with me at the time, he happened to be on a different course there, and I found out from him that this guy had been shot by a sniper. And they think it might have been, and I could be wrong here, it's been, I can't remember exactly what he said. It might have been that the interpreter that they were working with was feeding information to the enemy, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, let's move away from that dark topic because that's not good.
sometimes it's good to talk about those things when we're doing, like, you know how they do like the bull baiting routines,
Yeah.
and that it does work, but it's like it works like if you were to stub your toe and someone punches you in the arm. Yes, it might distract you from your toe, but it's really not nice or good or necessary to punch someone in the arm. But this is like a healthy thing. So if you can talk about yogi when you're in this relaxed state, and talk about something, it's good to get it off your chest, and it's good to get it out, especially when you are, say, in such a relaxed state.
I'm completely happy and open talking about all these things and my mental health, because the way I look at it is that everyone has a degree of mental health, whether they like to think they do or not. And the way that it can help people is being able to talk about it. And if someone sees me, I'm 6'3", I'm a big, heavy guy. I'm big and ugly, whatever you want to call me.
You're beautiful, Brad.
I
Yeah.
know.
You are beautiful.
Well, whatever I am, the Samuel calls me teddy bear. I'm his Samuel's teddy bear, apparently. So
Aw.
anyway, sorry, I'm digressing again. What was I saying?
Talking about mental health things.
Yes, yes. So one of the reasons I'm happy to talk about it is because even someone like me, who looks like, well, has been in 2 war zones, which I have, and I've done all these weird, wonderful things. Even I can be affected by, these mental health issues. So I like to advertise the fact that I have mental health, not all the time, but I don't mind talking about it, because I think that it might help someone else to realize that, a lot of people have these problems. It's not just me. That's my thinking on it, but I don't know whether that works or not.
Yeah, destigmatize.
I think the important thing is that for people who are struggling, who don't have the current ability to speak up, is to have representation in their with someone that they identify with.
Yeah.
Right. So if there was a big burly guy who came out and said that I feel sad all the time, even though he looks like he's just a big burly guy, other big burly guys will then will appreciate that and then say, oh, well, it's probably okay for me as a big burly guy to not feel okay, and then start talking about it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So like, it's important to have one of every type of person speaking out, so that someone can identify with them and make it okay.
Yeah, it's just one of the reasons I've got a patch that I wear quite a lot on my hat. It says PTSD. Not all wounds are visible.
Yes.
Now, I like to say that I do not have the full PTSD like a lot of my veteran friends have. My symptoms are, a lot of the symptoms for PTSD, or certainly some of them I do have, but mine is more based around anxiety. So it's not full on PTSD. It's more around anxiety, I guess. But unfortunately, it takes a lot to explain that. So quite often, just to make it easier, I just say, yeah, PTSD. But it's not technically correct
Yeah.
in that respect,
Yeah, I get it. Well, for the most part, for me, it's just depression. So, I mean, it obviously CPTSD and post religious trauma syndrome and stuff is the root cause of it. But yeah.
Yeah. So although I Jeff, my experience in Scientology is limited. Whereas we know your history, and I'm not going to start talking about it unless you want to. But the thing is, although your experiences are very different to mine, we both suffer very similar in a very similar way. So I take medication every single day for my depression. Okay.
Yeah.
I am very lucky. I have had the help, and I have got myself into a position now where I am in a good relationship. I'm happy. I have a good job, and I'm in a place where I now can talk about it and try and help others if I can. And I know that, Jeff, you're in the process of learning how to deal with these issues, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm currently doing a course specifically on cults, foundational cults, which I'm almost done. And
Yeah.
then in what, like 18 days, I'll be starting my psychology course. So, yeah.
Yes, that's
I was
awesome.
gonna ask you, Jeff, if you've heard or tried or looked into EMDR.
I haven't much.
It's
No, I've heard of it.
Rapid
I know.
eye movement.
Yeah, and I don't understand how it works or how it could work. It's such a foreign concept. You know, the funny thing with me, and we've been talking, Andrew and I have been talking about this, with some psychological, specifically grounding techniques. I find them challenging because they're so similar to Scientology teachings. And I'll give you an example. In one of the groups that I participate in every week, the person who leads it has you, as grounding, spot things, like notice things and feel things and smell things, right? To become more grounded and more aware of your surroundings. And that is, a lot of that is like a locational assist. And Scientology calls it coming into present time. And so that's very challenging for me because it's a very enforced activity in Scientology. So
Do
just
you think it
interesting.
makes you
I'll tell you
think
what-
that it was like part of his teachings were right, or can you sort of accept, oh, this is probably another thing he plagiarized?
Well, I don't know if he necessarily plagiarized it, but the idea of coming into present time isn't exactly new. It's a common belief. I think it's just the enforced nature of it that makes it difficult for me. You know.
So, Jeff,
Yeah.
one of the things I do to bring myself, my mind's going all over the place, and this is something I was taught at Combat Stress actually, is this here is a little container of lavender oil. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's basically pure lavender oil. Now you can find whatever smell that you like or whatever, and it doesn't really matter. But what I do is, they say if you just get like a drop, like you would put perfume on, for example, and some people would put it behind their ear or something like that. Me, because I've got a moustache, I just sort of rub it on my moustache a little bit, and you get that intense smell for about 5 or 10 minutes. And that does exactly the same as a locational assist would. Well, I say that from my understanding of it, but the reality is it might be different. But
Yeah.
that works for me very well.
Well, and I think that like a locational isn't bad. And the whole idea, like one of the assists that's essentially is a locational, is take a walk assist. And that's literally just taking a walk, which is not some magical thing. It's just, you're just distracting yourself.
It's
So
not yeah, I get what you're saying there, but if you're looking for something to distract you or to think about, to take your mind off what you're doing that isn't Scientology related, as far as I'm aware, there's no essential oil assist. It might
yeah.
work.
And in
It
fact,
might work. It might work for you. It might not. It's worth a try.
yeah, well, I'll definitely try it. I like to sniff markers instead. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do that. Crikey.
But interestingly, the whole scent thing too, like there's actual policy against scents in Scientology. Like scents are bad. They were stimulative. So
Well,
that's another
yeah, but
interesting thing.
but how can they? This is what frustrates me so much about Hubbard. It's such a numpty because you say, "Oh, well, it stimulates you and everything else." Well, yeah, but then they do all these assists that stimulate you as well in the same way in your brain. It's like, well, why would you say one thing works and one thing doesn't? It's just ridiculous. Sorry. Anyway, again,
Are you
limited
implying that
understanding.
Scientology is ridiculous?
No, would I ever do that?
Yeah,
Never.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Oh, no, I would say that what's most ridiculous about it is that no, I'm not going to say that. It's a bit rude, but what I will say is the frustration is that we see these. What really upsets me, Jeff, is seeing people like, when we were at St. Hill together,
Mhm.
these people that are clearly being manipulated and they just don't see it themselves. It's frustrating.
Yeah, believe me, I know. Like,
Oh, no,
coming
I know you
from
know
that.
more than I do, Jeff. Trust me.
Well, I mean, I don't want to put it like
Go on.
that, but it's like I understand what you're saying, and it's frustrating to not be able to wake someone up when you like if you know someone's having a nightmare, but they don't know they're in it. You want to wake them up, and
Yeah.
it's like them never waking up, right?
Have you heard the story of Plato's cave analogy story?
I don't
No.
think so.
No, but I want to hear it.
Oh, it's fantastic. So basically, he's saying that if you were a prisoner from birth and you were born in a cave and your only knowledge of the outside world came from the shadows that you seen that come through a hole in the roof, in like the top of the cave, and if one day somebody said, "Oh, I want to venture out and see what's outside, see what more there is to life," everyone would be quite scared and be like, "No, what are you doing? We've seen the monsters. We've seen from the shadows. Like, that's not a safe place." But then, if you went out, then first of all, you're going to feel so disorientated. The light's going to be blinding you. Everything's going to be confusing and overwhelming. But when you come to terms with all of, your senses and being outside of the cave, when you then go back into the cave, you're going to be stumbling around. You're going to be very frantic. You're going to be saying a lot of stuff that sounds insane. And the people in the cave are going to think, wow, that's probably a good reason not to go outside the cave, because they look frantic. It looks like something bad happened to them outside the cave. But the nature is wanting to go back in and explain to everybody, I've seen grass, I've seen the sun, there's a lake out there, we're drinking dirty water out of a puddle, don't drink this, come out. And it can be a very desperate situation. And that's just a story that always comes to mind when I see Serge talk about sort of the child abuse, and how long it must have took him to be like, and what is the definition of child trafficking, and what happened to us when we were children. Like, my heart just breaks. But I did not do that story justice. There's loads of different coverage on YouTube, but it's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that. That sounds like I want to read that. Plato's Cave, you said?
Yes.
Okay. So
Not like the
I'll be,
unofficial Schrodinger's arsehole that we spoke about before. This is an official.
Oh, Schrodinger's arsehole, yeah. Because we all know Tilty Bird loves the butt stuff.
You
Sorry,
said
Jeff.
it. You said that, not me. And on Jeff's channel. Shame.
It's
Shame,
okay.
shame.
And my channel.
This is-
And my channel. It's just a known fact. I'm sorry. And you know.
So bad. I can't see the
Oh, my
comments, and
goodness.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad it's Tilly
So-
in here.
Tilty Bird,
Tilty-
I apologize.
Yes,
I could send you a link and you can jump in and you can defend yourself.
So,
See,
what
I'm
I-
not even there to defend myself.
So Tilty, I do apologise. I am obviously only joking. It's
I don't know.
It's a running joke.
I am genuinely sorry, Tilty. But no, what I should say to clarify that is, we did have a little bit of a joke the other day on one of the streams. I think I was winding up Tilty and Fluffer, and for some reason we were talking about Schrodinger's cat, which is a thought experiment by Edwin Schrödinger. Schrödinger, as a physics thought experiment, and for some reason, Tilty brought up. Oh,
That
no,
was
I think
me.
was
It
it
was
you?
me. I was saying that I don't think anyone in Scientology who is a staff member, I would say it's different with public and staff, because the public, there's plausible deniability, but with the staff they must see so much, but also being brainwashed essentially. I feel like until someone leaves the cult, they're like, it's like Schrodinger's cat, but Schrodinger's asshole. They could be considered an asshole and not an asshole, but until someone leaves and deprograms, you can't make a judgment call, because you would be making that call on a programmed person and not an actual personality, if that makes sense. And I hope it wasn't offensive.
No, you what you've said there, I think, is exactly what we were talking about, and you made more sense than I did, I think. Yeah, absolutely. No, you're right. It's difficult to judge someone's character based on if they are currently working in the Sea Org or whatever, because the reality is, we all know, or at least those of us who are watching closely, we all know that a lot, almost all of the Scientologists are lovely people on the inside. They mean no harm. Unfortunately, it's the teachings and the doctrine and the way that they are expected to act which is causing them to be disliked, I guess. But individually, if they realized what we realized, then I suspect they're all probably lovely people. Jeff, would you agree?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think there's a really interesting part of being a Scientologist that isn't really explored much. And there's a difference between, there's so many levels. There's a difference between a public Scientologist and a staff member and a Sea Org member. And then there's also levels in the Sea Org. There's levels in as staff, and there's levels as public. If somebody, most public Scientologists have been on staff if they've been in Scientology for a while, to a certain degree. It may have been one contract, it may have been a short amount of time. There's very few that have only just joined Scientology, but also not worked for Scientology. And that's a different type of person. Those are the type of people, if they haven't worked for them, that can say, oh, I haven't seen anything bad. And they can easily defend Scientology as legitimate.
That's the Mitch Brisker effect.
No, I wouldn't say that, because he's worked for Scientology. He was a public, but he saw things in behind the curtains, so to speak. But I'm talking about like someone who is literally just doing courses and auditing. It's just different, at least in my opinion.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. What I meant, I mean no disrespect to Mitch Brisker. I've never met the guy, but I do believe, from what I do know, is that when he left, of course, he would have been kept away from all the problems because of who he was and his seniority within the organization. So
yeah,
he wouldn't.
And
have
I can't really comment on it. Like I don't know the guy, and I don't really know anything about him. So.
No, like I say, I mean no disrespect, but you know, and of course my knowledge is limited, so I can't really talk on it. But it, yeah, I'm going to stop because I don't want to.
Yeah, let's stop. Let's not talk about other people.
I mean,
as
no
much as
disrespect.
possible.
Yeah,
but my point being, like there is definitely like a certain. There's a if they're just a Scientologist and they've only done some services, they're not the same as someone who's worked for Scientology or done the quote unquote dirty work. Let's just say that.
Yeah, which is why I'm not qualified to really talk about this too much, because I just did a few Div 6 courses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just different. Like they
it's different.
haven't
You have a different
they
level of
haven't committed the
access.
sins.
You have a very much different. I guess what I was trying to get at is it's a very much different level of access, and you see things. You see things that some people wouldn't see, I guess. But also, Jeff, I am conscious that you mentioned the other day that you were, sorry, not the other day, today, that you were not stepping away from the Scientology stuff, but sort of keeping it at arm's length, at least for a while, if that's correct. I do apologize for keep talking about it.
No, that's fine. It's not that I'm never going to talk about it again. The way I look at it, everything's been said about Scientology. I've told my story. I continue to help people in the background, and I'm always there for people. I just know that there's more work to be done that's a bit more important than talking about Scientology, because there are people who are leaving Scientology that need help, and I'd rather help them or help people who have left other groups as much as possible.
Absolutely, yeah. So do tell me to shut up at any point.
Could I just mention, if you do have any resources, like the Heads Up guys, was it Heads Up guys?
Yep.
We have put that on the site or the database. We've started making a database that goes along with the SPTV resource page, but that is for everyone. So it's people coming out of Scientology, people who might be leaving another high control group or relationship, or someone who just is lonely, or someone who could maybe do with saving a bit of money. So there's going to be so much stuff on there. Like I've added Rambler group, so it's just groups across the whole of the UK where people meet up and go on group walks together. So if someone was lonely, or there's a food app called Too Good to Go, so if someone was anything someone could need leaving a high control group, we want to have in one place, so we can say, even if someone, like, to try and stop someone going in anywhere, so if that's something that you would just have the resources for anyway, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Or anyone in Canada, obviously a big old place. It's submit at sptv.space, and that will go to Bridget, and she runs all of that. And again, we're not in association with SPTV. The only reason it's not sp.space is because that's a premium site, and it costs like $1,200 a year to rent the domain name. But we're wanting it to be for everybody. So if you are escaping out of any high control group, we want people, to have all of the information, so people can write in Vancouver or Birmingham or Portland, Denver, anywhere, and it'll come up with library, medical, mental health, if you can get cheaper food or community meals, jigsaws, anything like that, would be fantastic, and we'll get it all in the database.
Cool. That's great to know.
Positive things.
Yes. Yeah.
Does sound good.
That's what's important. We have been working on a website as well for resources for mental health professionals to know what to expect when treating someone who's left Scientology, basically. So it's that way the person who's getting therapy doesn't need to spend 6-7 sessions explaining Scientology or what happened to them. Yeah.
That's a brilliant idea, Jeff. Is that something you're doing by yourself?
No, Andrea and Sharon, who's a listener or a viewer, a friend, is also helping us. And we're hoping to get some other people in the community to do write-ups and their experiences. So it's not just one person's experience, but like I'm not going to speak on the subject of what it's like to be gay in Scientology because I didn't experience that. So hoping to get some people to experience that or explain that, so a therapist can know what the policies are that Scientology uses.
Yeah, it might be useful to have access to. So, if you're putting together like a guide for the therapist, you could essentially point them in the direction of, let's say, the information that Fluff is putting together with Bridget and everyone else, to say this website holds this particular bit of information, here's a link to it, and this would explain to you the policies around whatever.
Yes,
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Ideally, what we want to have happen is the therapist gets sent to the website, and then the client tells the therapist the things that they feel they need to know. So let's just say, for example, let's say disconnection and their views on gay people and anything basically that isn't straight. And then the therapist can go to the website and then select those topics, and a full printout and explanation of all the topics with the references is emailed to them, so they can study.
Have you seen the ChatGPT that Scientology has? She's put all of the red and green policies, like program them into the ChatGPT, so you can, if you wanted to say policy letters on being gay, or what, on when you have to disconnect, or whatever, then you can just search it, and then ChatGPT will tell you all of the stuff.
Oh wow! Is it full like verbatim reference, or is it an AI version?
No. She's programmed it all in verbatim, and stuff that it couldn't pick up. She's got in and edited it, and handwritten it. It's been such a labor of love, and it's just because she's so passionate about exposing just the kookiness of the doctrine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of that. That's amazing. She was
looking for testers. I tried, but I'm not very good. But yeah, I'll definitely send you the link over. It's so impressive.
Nice.
So I think, Jeff, what she's done is she's put, as far as I know, and I could be wrong here, but there's like two links. One link takes you to all the green books, and the other link takes you to all the red books. I think that's what she said.
Yeah.
But literally, she's downloaded and put on every single document from all of those books. And presumably she'll be doing that for the rest of the relevant documents and teachings from the cult as well.
I'm sure Scientology loves that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure they do, and I'm sure that the security around that particular part of the website is quite good as well. Because as far as I'm aware, she's very good at that sort of thing.
Nice.
Yes, she's an editor for the site as well, and she adds a lot of the stuff like the LRH doctrine letters, stuff like that. She's that's sort of her area of expertise as a Neverin, because we didn't want to pester survivors, because Jeff's given so much and knows absolutely nothing, so we were just trying to sort of respectfully stay in the lane of just trying to make it an overall good place for survivors, or someone who just might need a friend or something to do, or a walk, or help with their mental health.
Well, I'm always happy to help people. Like I think that people, and maybe I'm not very good at explaining it, like I think that people think that I'm just kind of done. I'm not done. I I need to have other focuses that aren't just Scientology. So just to make that clear for anyone who's watching.
I absolutely understand what you're saying, Jeff. I completely understand it, because you and I have both spoken privately about mental health, haven't we? And I'm not going to discuss your issues or whatever, but I think we both agreed, didn't we, with what you're saying?
Yeah. I will always be there for people to help. So
Same
make
with
that clear.
me.
That's my goal.
Same with me. If anyone just wants a chat, email me.
I'm not going to be going to school to be a counselor for jollies. There's a lot of other things I could do, but I want to be able to help people in an effective way.
Yeah, but Jeff, you're so good at listening already. You're going to make an excellent counselor.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. Was that?
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
think,
Brad.
Jeff,
Appreciate it.
you'd make a fantastic teacher as well. I think that's something I'm very excited about in my own little imagination, is the fact that you're young enough and enthusiastic enough to be able to really make a difference, for 50, 60, 70 therapists. You could do it for as little or as long as you wanted, but the potential there is so exciting for people healing.
Well, I do love coaching. It's in any management position I've had, that's been my favorite part. I like to see people improve and do things that they never thought that they could do. I used to be a mountain bike instructor as well, and taking people from barely being able to ride a trail in a straight line to going off drops. It's pretty exciting. Yeah. It's actually one of the things that Scientology took advantage of with me, and how they recruited me a lot of times is they pushed my help button, my wanting, my desire, my willingness to help people. They pushed that like crazy. So
what I've actually noticed about you, Jeff, recently is that you are actually putting yourself first at the moment, to a degree.
yeah, as much as I can.
Which I think is the right thing for you to do, because you can't help other people if you're suffering yourself.
Yeah, that's my whole thought process right now.
Yeah. Which is why I feel so honoured that you would have me on your stream to do some art with you.
You're just a nice guy that I like, and I wanted to do some arting with you.
Remember, Jeff, what happened at St. Hill stays at St. Hill.
Oh yes, always. Always. I will always remember you holding your umbrella over me.
And that lovely
And that's not a
tea.
euphemism.
No, it was a real umbrella, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was actually kind of a small one too. And that's a euphemism. Oh.
I've never been described as. Oh, hang on. No, I'm not going to say anything else. All right. I have the uncanny. I have the uncanny ability of being able to say too much, so I have to stop myself. And this is a lot to do with my autism, Jeff, I believe.
Yeah. Internal dialogue issues.
Yeah, I don't know when to stop talking, say the wrong things, and since I was diagnosed with autism in my 40s, or my late 30s, actually, I tell a lie. Since I've been diagnosed, I've actually had so much more success in life. I've pissed off such a small. There, start that sentence again, like a human would.
Yeah.
I haven't pissed so many people off. Or hardly at all, because I am so much more aware of my limitations and the way that I see things in the world. So as a result, I've lost less jobs. Well, hardly any. I've not lost any jobs. And I'm just doing better all round.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I always say the best people have mental health issues.
That's true. Well, everyone does, but just to a certain degree, right?
Yeah. I mean, not literally everyone, but yeah, a lot of I've noticed that a lot of people that I find to be the most interesting people tend to be the people who are mentally struggling with mental health issues. Definitely the case. And in the past, it was considered to be, I don't know, let's say, for example, First World War, it was called shell shock, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
PTSD.
yeah, essentially it's PTSD, but they used to call it shell shock, and soldiers used to get shot for having it, for getting extreme PTSD from being bombed constantly. They would literally shoot them with one of their Webley revolvers or whatever it was they had at the time.
Yeah.
And it's completely different these days.
Yeah, it's
Thank
nice to see
goodness.
support.
Yeah. It's absolutely awesome. So one of the things is that before I was diagnosed with my mental health issues, when I was up at Combat Stress, and they essentially saved my life, because I was in a position where well, dark thoughts, planning on doing things which shouldn't have been done, etc. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I went from that to now being a relatively useful human being. So I've got a lot to thank them for, and I have done some charity work trying to raise money for them in the past, but I still want to try and do things for them in the future as much as I can.
That's awesome.
Are you still there, Fluffer? Or should we say Tilty?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here, but my phone is gonna die. So I might
Okay.
have to bid you both adieu because I've had to take my headphones off and I don't want. Oh wow! Look at you both go.
I am almost done anyway, so
Yeah, I'm
how
sorry, Jeff, carry on.
nope, I just wanted to say if you are close to being done, we could probably wrap up pretty soon.
I'm going to be doing the rest of it another time because I need to have some
Okay.
dinner. I've
Yep.
put off my dinner now for an hour and a half or so. So I'm going to eat some dinner in a bit. But
Okay.
when I finish it off, Jeff, I'll send you a picture and I'll put it up on my thingy.
Yeah,
So
that
that'd
sounds
be
great.
awesome. I'd just like to say before you end things, Jeff,
Yeah, no
I
rush.
really appreciate all the lovely people that have actually come in and taken the time to watch us and talk to us. It's been fantastic.
It's pretty
That's the
amazing, eh?
that's actually the reason. I don't care whether my channel gets big or not, but one of the reasons why I started streaming is because I noticed on Fluffer's stream and Rika's stream and various other streams that I've been watching that the people are really lovely to talk to. So that's the reason I wanted to do some streaming, and it's really lovely having these people here. So thank you all.
Yes, I concur. So, and Fluffer, thank you very much for joining. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end the stream?
Just thank you so much for trying this art form. I'm so sorry if there's an echo. I was not prepared. I feel like I hijacked it a little bit. So thank you so much for having me on, and for trying a form of therapy which has absolutely saved me. And yeah,
Amazing.
thank you.
All right, guys. Well, let's set up another one soon. And to everyone who's in the chat or on the replay crew, thanks for joining us. We do appreciate you and all that you do and say. And until next time, enjoy the outro.